Do we have any announcements?
No announcements this evening.
Sure.
Positive.
Okay, we have a presentation this evening with Sarah Thurber, going to present us with fundraising achievements and regarding leukemia and lymphoma.
Thank you for having me tonight. I'm really excited to be here to celebrate all of you and all of your hard work. So, like you said, my name is Sarah Thurber, and I'm the campaign manager for Pennies for Patients at the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society for the Eastern Pennsylvania chapter. Our mission is to cure leukemia, lymphoma, Hodgkin disease, and myeloma, and improve the quality of life for patients and their families. So I'm really excited to be here tonight because September is Blood Cancer Awareness Month, and it is also Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. A couple of facts I'd like to share with you is that every 3 minutes, someone in the U.S. is diagnosed with a blood cancer, and every 9 minutes, someone is diagnosed, someone loses their battle with blood cancer. So in the hour that you're here tonight, think about all of the people that will be affected by blood cancers. So despite this, the progress, more than 1/3 of blood cancer patients still do not survive 5 years after their diagnosis. But we're making great strides, and some of the things that I'd like to point out to you that the LLS works on is research. This number is a little outdated. We have $1.4 billion in cancer research since 1949. My favorite thing to express to people is how important research is in finding a cure for cancer, and it's happening in our backyards here in Philadelphia at UPenn. So an interesting fact is that CAR T therapy was just FDA approved, and it's a therapy that is not toxic like chemotherapy, and I'm happy to talk with you more about that if you ever have any questions. We're making an impact with education and support here in Eastern PA. We have $1.3 million dedicated. I'll leave those facts up there for you, but we'll keep moving forward. And our advocacy, I just wanted to point out that we have a huge initiative this year to put our money towards childhood cancer. It's kind of been on the back burner, and leukemia is one of the number 1 childhood cancers. So that being said, every hero needs a squad, and we are so lucky to have a squad like the Springford Area School District. This right here is Cruz Cooper. He is our national honored hero, and he is actually from the Eastern PA area. So he is on all of our materials all across the nation for our Pennies for Patients program. So I wanted to thank you for all of your contributions combined. Pennies for Patients is a science-based philanthropic program, which we're super lucky to have your 7th, 9th, and high school center, because typically our elementary schools are the people that are running this program. So we're really excited to have your high schools and your middle schools involved. It's really an accomplishment, and to combined, you've raised $14,896.05, and every penny counts. So please, pat yourselves on the back and give yourselves a round of applause, because you're one of the top earning districts, and this is just for the 2018-2019 school year. So thank you again. Here's the check so you can all see of your donation, and we're so excited to have you as a part of our squad. Just to kind of move forward, these are the people whose lives you are changing every day. These are our honored heroes just for this area. So these 6 kids are super involved with the LLS and really do need your support. So we're so thankful to have your school district support. And yeah, thank you again. So just a quick little note. Pennies for Patients wants to be more than just your philanthropy. We also provide STEM curriculum with an SEL learning component, so social and emotional learning component. This is just a supplement to what you're teaching in the classroom. And we offer it as to be a partner in student education, because we want you to get out as much as we get out of it. So we want to thank you again, and celebrate all of your hard work. And moving forward, we'd love to get more schools involved. And if you have any ideas, please feel free to reach out to me as students. So in Eastern PA, we will have a total for the 2019-2020 year, 515 schools that we hope will raise $1 million this year. And together throughout the United States, we are hoping to raise $26 million with Pennies for Patients because, like I said, every penny counts. So thank you again, and I'm so excited to be here. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me.
Well, thank you for coming and sharing. That's an awesome accomplishment from Spring-Ford side to almost raise $15,000. So and I'm glad you came and recognized all the hard work by the students, across 3 buildings. And we're really excited to be here again in the 1920 school year. And hopefully we'll surpass that by a few $1,000s or more for next year.
Thank you all for this is a great celebration. This is a huge accomplishment.
So thank you. Public to be heard on agenda items only. Okay, report, student rep report.
Okay, so this is our September student report.
Okay, so what happened this month? We had our back to school nights, picture day, the 5th and 6th grade socials, and then very last but not least, we had the Spring-Ford High School receive the honor of being named as one of the top 40 public schools in the Philadelphia Magazine. So this was split up by 20 city schools and 20 suburb schools. So there was no particular order, but we were named one of the top for the suburb schools, and we would just like to thank the students and the staff for everything that they do, all their support. We'd like to thank the parents for their support, and then, of course, the board for not only the high school, but district-wide for their support as well. So thank you, everyone.
So what's coming up? We have a lot of fun things coming up. We have Spirit Week, October 7th to October 11th. We have No School, one this coming Monday, and then one October 9th. The Homecoming Game and Parade, October 12th. The Homecoming Dance for underclassmen, October 11th. And for upperclassmen, October 12th. Powder Puff, October 11th. And book fairs at the elementary schools.
Okay, so now we're going to introduce our student ambassadors. All right, so I know we already introduced everyone, but we want to do more of a formal introduction since we now have our Blazers and we're all official, and we have more members part of our student ambassador program. So everyone's just going to go around and say their name and their grade. All right. Everyone follow me.
And maybe just a brief recap about what the program is for people in the audience that don't know.
So our student ambassador program, we have student ambassadors from the freshman to the senior, and we have 2 per grade. We tried to stick by that, but we did get a little off there with the numbers, but that is totally fine. And we have these official Blazers, and what the student ambassadors do is they represent the school district as a whole. So to people that come outside from the district, we represent to guests coming into the Spring-Ford High School or just any event that Spring-Ford holds. So I'm Juliana. I am a senior.
I'm Ishika. I'm a junior.
I'm Kylie, I'm a senior.
I'm Catherine, I'm a freshman.
I'm Aditi, I'm a freshman.
I'm Alex, I'm a sophomore.
I'm Anshika, I'm a junior.
I'm Rita, I'm a junior.
So we are missing some ambassadors, but these are the ones that could attend tonight. And we're all official with our Blazers now, thanks to the board. So thank you, board, for everything, for supporting us. And yeah, that's it.
So, Juliana, quick question. So have you had an event yet where you guys have served?
Yes, we did. We had 2 events. So we had the 9th grade open house and then the 10th grade open house. The big high school open house. So we had those 2 events that most of the ambassadors attended. So it was great. Everyone was like, oh, what are you guys? They didn't know what we were. So we explained everything, of course. And yeah, it was great. So we're definitely excited to start getting new roles and yeah.
So when you guys did the open house, what were you doing? Were you bringing people on tours, bringing them around the building, giving them guidance, or?
Yeah, so since there was obviously a short amount of time in between each class, we were helping them get where they need to go. I found personally that I helped people more in the beginning, finding their first period, and then we gave them maps, handed that out. The NHS was also there helping, so that was also nice. It wasn't just us leading all these parents, so they were a big help too. But that was the 9th grade open house was first, and then we had this one. So that was like our second go around and everything. So
I will say you all stood out though at those back to school nights. It was easy for people to find you because of those great blazers, and many parents though did say to me that that was great because you were right there, you were visible, and you were helpful. So thank you for all of that.
yes, of course. All right, that's the end of the report.
All right, thank you. Great job. Thank you, guys. All right, let's spin through these committee reports pretty quick. Curriculum and technology.
Okay, we'll do what we can. The Curriculum and Technology Committee met on September 13th. We started out with good news. We had the Spring Forward Back to School Night was again a huge success for the 4th year in a row. Math and Literacy Night are being combined this year for the first time, and that will be held in early November on November 4th. On the curriculum side, orientation and induction went very well this year. Spring Forward welcomed approximately 32 new teachers. Modernized learning training has occurred with cohorts 1 through 6, the 7th and 8th grade early adopters, and 9th grade staff. So training is continuing with all of the modernized learning. Ames Web Plus, although it wasn't a new platform, it was a new product. It was an upgraded system, and so there's some training that's happening and assessments getting ready to take place. Curriculum review for the 1920 school year will include K-5 and 11th grade social studies, as well as K-12 library. There will also be math and ELA updates included in the minutes. On the technology side, for the 9th grade modernized learning, deployment went extremely well, and Bob and his team are reflecting on what happened, what went well, what didn't, and they're beginning to prepare for next year's deployment. Internet speed and network infrastructure were updated last year to help prepare for the deployment, and there have been no network internet issues reported to date. So that's always good to hear. Another big initiative out of the technology department was that they successfully completed the upgrade of our phone system. There were 1,200 phones up and running, and the transition was smooth, and they are awaiting music from our own school district, which will be our hold music as soon as it gets pushed up to Mr. Catalano. In addition, the team also worked on the summer refresh, and they refreshed 3,344 devices, so kudos to that team. Bob is also working on an Earn and Learn opportunity, which will be offered for the Clever type the Clever system to support teachers and student use. There is a Clever Academy out there that some folks have taken and learned a lot about this new system. Mr. Catalano and his team have fielded several questions from parents about this new system, and it's that one sign-on system that is being utilized for K-4. And the majority of the questions came from students trying to log in at home, but overall the deployment has been very effective, and Bob and his team are looking into how to use this for lunch access to make those lines go faster as well. Bob and his team are also going to be looking into the process of examining preparation, testing, and analysis for network security. And you'll see that there is a contract on the agenda for this evening. It is an SLC contract that has been added, and that's just a renewal. And that is it. Are there any questions?
Great, thank you.
Yep,
Western Center, are you doing that too?
I am.
All right.
All right. So the Western Center met on the 11th of October. No, September, sorry. I'm wishing away the months. So the first thing we did is we took the opportunity to thank State Representative Cerisi for his assistance in helping Western Montgomery Career Technology Center receive a $40,000 grant that will be used to assist with co-op transportation, among several other things. So that was a nice grant that we got over there, and we'll see great utilization out of those funds. The startup has been great so far this year. The staff have been actively engaged with the in-services based on a book by Simon Sneak, Starts With Why. And they were lucky enough to have Brooks Harper present to the faculty on August 28th on self-marketing and motivational concept for students. He was very well received, and some other districts have already started to talk to Mr. Harper about coming to speak. Once again, the Western Center will be hosting the Boy Scout Merit Badge in mid-October, and that is where troops from practically around the country can come and sign up to receive merit badges, and some of those merit badges are typically hard to find, hard to locate, and we have the ability to be a one-stop shopping for some of those. There is an open house that is scheduled for December 11th, and this allows current and prospective students to meet with teachers and faculty. And there is also a Girls' Night Out, which is actually scheduled for November 14th. And this is an annual event helping to promote young women entering non-traditional programs, something that, again, is going to be the focus of the grant that was received. Numbers for the center have fluctuated, and as they tend to do every year in the first couple of weeks of school. So in November, we'll have more solid numbers because we do not meet in October. Any questions?
Okay, thank you. Extracurricular.
The extracurricular committee met on September 9th in district office. We had a few great presentations. The first was from Mr. Jones, who was representing all of the extracurricular band activities. So that included marching band, which everybody's familiar with, and has to walk around as we're trying to get in the building for meetings, as they're practicing outside right now. But also, there are 2 jazz bands. There's indoor color guard. There are 2 units. There's also indoor percussion, as well as, I'm missing somebody. Color guard, I said. Yeah, so I think that might be, yeah, I got them. A lot of really, really exciting activities going on this year. The marching band will, in total, be performing at 10 games. They're attending 6 competitions. The first one was this past Saturday at Springford, and they, kudos to both the band as well as the Music Association. They all did an awesome job in putting on a great show with hosting 16 bands, and it was a wonderful event. They're also going to be, the Springford Marching Band will be participating this year in the Westchester Parade. It's around Christmas time, the kind of end of November, beginning of December. Fingers crossed we won't have rain. We've had rain the last few times we've attended, so hopefully it'll stay dry for them. And then their big event this year will be attending the Peach Bowl. So they will be marching in the parade for the Peach Bowl as well as performing during the Peach Bowl game. So really, really exciting opportunities, just awesome. Indoor percussion, the group started in 2013, and they work through what's called the MAP circuit. It's the Mid-Atlantic Percussion Society. And they also host shows. I think they have a show scheduled for the end of January. If anybody has an opportunity to get out and see any of these groups when they're performing and competing, make every effort to do so. The amount of work that they put in and what they're doing is just absolutely amazing. In total, between all of these organizations, there are approximately 190 students. So there are around 300 unique spaces, but somebody may participate in jazz and marching band. So we definitely, there's a huge participation, and it's just been an amazing performance. So we thanked Mr. Jones for bringing us all up to date, and certainly wish the band luck this year as they compete and have an awesome trip to Atlanta. We also had a wonderful presentation on RAMWARS, and it's an area I think, actually Mrs. Spletzer and I were talking, Mrs. Regan presented to us, and RAMWARS is a literary magazine, and it's something that I think we tend to get confused with the newspaper and the name of the newspaper. It's a wonderful, wonderful publication that includes sonnets, poems, photographs, drawings from students, and there's an opportunity to purchase the publication towards the end of the year, trying to coordinate that with the annual art show. But certainly recommend, folks, especially you students, if you have something, take advantage of the opportunity, get it published. I mean, it's just something that you'll never forget, having that opportunity. The RAMWARS group also hosts an open mic event, and where students can show off skills, sing, etc. And there will be some flyers and announcements about that, but that does help raise some funds towards publication. So that was a fabulous presentation, and it is different than the newspaper. And then we talked a little bit with Mr. McDaniel about the fall sports. For high school, the sports are just getting kicked off at this point, so we'll get a full update in the next month at our next meeting in November. But there are about 600 students across all teams, so we really have a great participation rate here at Springford, and we offer certainly a number of awesome opportunities. We are continuing to look at adding additional opportunities as they're brought to the district. Or requested or recommended. We also spent a little bit of time talking about where we were with the middle school. Again, middle school gets off to a little bit of a later start, but they were in the process of tryouts and looking at the number of students that were trying out for teams. As of right now, it looks like from a facilities perspective, in the fall we'll certainly everything's manageable, scheduling with other teams and having games for that 2nd, 7th grade team looks to be going well. There's some things that we want to continue to look at, but so far so good. Now, I think we'll know more once the rubber hits the road, and if we show up at a game and another team's already there playing, we'll know that there was an issue. We've had that before, yeah. So we'll see, but kind of continuing to talk through that to see. Again, more schools continue to pull back or merge programs into a single team. So and we adjourned at 7:30. Our next meeting will be in November. Any questions?
Legislative?
There was no meeting this week.
Well, they've been on summer break anyway. Huh? I know. MCI report, actually the meeting's tomorrow night, so I'll report next month. Wednesday night. Superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. DeBello. Dr. Gooden's not here this evening, so I'll speak in his behalf. If it'll be easier, I'll speak with a southern accent.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, right. Couple of things I promise. This is not a bias, but I want to just piggyback off of the band competition on Saturday night. It was a great night. There were 16 bands, and all of them were excellent. Even the smallest band that had about 9 performers on the field. It was pretty impressive, the work that was there. Quite a, I would say, a diverse show. What's changed, I've been out of the scene for several years, but what has changed since I was a band director is band shows tell a story now. It's the combination of sound and visualizations and visuals and narration in some cases. They tell a story. So they're not only advancing an art form, but they're also in the business of educating, which I thought was really nice to see. Thank you to the band boosters, the staff, the parents, and the students for an excellent night. It just worked out really well. The only thing that I think Bob Hunter has to deal with is apparently one of our bands, not ours, chose to drive their equipment over top of our power supply on the field, which caused a bit of an issue, but they worked through it. So already, why am I not surprised? Already fixed. So congratulations.
Like
right? It's like Monday, right? Right. As long as I'm talking about band, thanks to Bob Hunter and his constantly jabbing people on the side to get things moving forward, the band moved into the band space today. So very excited band students hauling equipment back and forth, and it was good to see. I was there while they got read all the do's and don'ts of being in the new band space, and at the top of that list was it's got to look nice for the next 20 or 30 or 40 years. So they're very excited. And I would one more thing I just want to say. We welcomed Dr. Purcell Whitaker with us last week. He joined us last Wednesday, and it was nice to have our special education supervisor team fully staffed. We're excited to have him on board. His background in behavior and school psychology is a welcome addition to our staff. Completes our team. And then lastly, this is going to be a disappointment to all the students out there, I'm sure. A couple of days coming up here. Monday, September 30th, Wednesday, October 9th, and Monday, October 14th, there's no school. So, of course, you'll be studying anyway, I'm sure, but just wanted to make sure that you're checking out your calendar, that you know those are days off for you. Nodding your head, yes, thank you. Good. Good student. That's all I have. Thank you.
Great report. Great report. Just real quick with the students moving into the band room, I know that we're waiting to get the last piece delivered to the elevator in the fitness area, and then once that's in, we're going to be planning an official opening of the both facilities and the new hallway, which I believe they call Heaven or something like that, or I don't know what they're calling it. These kids are creative. But so we're going to be doing official, and we'll be announcing that as well. Our hope was to do it for homecoming, but unfortunately with the elevator not arriving yet, it's probably a week away, so it just puts us back a little bit, but we are really excited. And I know we'll be tapping our student ambassadors to help with the tours, so it'll be an exciting night as well, or afternoon, depending on when we plan this out. So it's good news to hear that the band students have moved in to the room.
There's something else that I wanted to raise too, since we're on the solicitor's report, even though Dr. Gooden isn't here. I'm sorry, superintendent, sorry, I was rushing it a little bit. The superintendent, sorry.
I know, because Mark goes on and on.
No, he doesn't. But one of the things that Dr. Gooden addressed in our board memo, and to piggyback a little bit on what Mr. Jackson said last week about the graduation date. In looking at that, it's scheduled for a Monday. And I'm going to go from the perspective that there's people that are coming into town and arrangements that have to be made. So I think when you look at that and you look at the numbers, if we go to the state requirement of 178, and then we add in those snow days, And if you'll recall from the board memo, Dr. Gooden did survey a number of area schools and schools across Pennsylvania. Some do set it. It's difficult to really be able to do that. It's not been Spring Forward's policy to do that because the weather can impact the date. But if we are going to look at it, because Monday is just not very good for travelers, we'll put it that way. So if that's the case, then I would propose that we look at Friday as opposed to Thursday. Thursday, we'd still be within that 178 with the 3 days, but if we have a really bad winter, we're going to be in trouble. It's 180. It is 180, but you can go to 178 legally. You can't go below the 178 for seniors.
Yeah, right,
For seniors specifically. So that being said, I think we should, at the table, have a conversation. And as I said, I would propose Friday because it's a little bit safer than going all the way back to Thursday. But I still think it meets the needs that may be out there, that I suspect are out there.
Yeah, I think it makes sense to have it a fixed day, particularly a Friday, like you said. I mean, the cost of, if you miss a day or two is not that big. And it's pretty much, it seems like most of the districts do that. So I think that's a good idea.
And didn't Dr. Gooden suggest that if we should go over our allocated snow days that are built in, then the following Monday could potentially become a school day for the seniors if need be, in which case they could be ill or otherwise?
Well, I think there's another consideration too, in terms of hours met, that there is a quota there also. I do believe Dr. Gooden too has consulted with Dr. Nugent, and there's been some discussion at the high school. Is that true that you'd be okay with this? Could you come up and talk to us about your opinion?
Yes. So we did have a conversation. I would just caution to think, we do build in 3 snow days. So if we don't use any of the snow days, we would be finished prior to that Friday. So just something to be mindful of. So if you do choose Friday, if we did make a decision, if we did make a decision to have graduation on Friday, we in theory could have been we could have had it on Wednesday of that week, just to be mindful of that.
That's true, but Dr. Gooden also listed for us the number of snow days that we've used in recent years.
I understand.
So I think, just to err on the side of caution, and hey, we're doing the senior parents and the seniors a favor by even considering moving it, that if
I just
they
wanted to make
do-
that, I just wanted to
Yeah.
point that out, because that means the
That's
last
true.
student day would be Wednesday, the 10th, and graduation would be 2 days after that, if indeed we did not, by some reason, didn't use our snow days. I know we have, but I'm just pointing that out.
So Dr. Nugent, this past graduation, did we graduate on the last student day or no? I don't remember.
We did. There is precedent. The board, a few years ago, we did have a Monday graduation potential, and when March rolled around and we made it, we knew where we stood, we moved it to the 179th day, which was a Friday. So we did it. We have made that decision in the past.
I think we also had, at one point, we actually had made a decision and then had an issue afterwards. And so the seniors still graduated. That was either last year or the year before.
Well, one
like in
thing
the
we
last
did-
couple of years, there was a student day after, the day after graduation.
Correct. That is correct.
So
and
we
that
had one.
that
was 2
indeed
years
could
ago,
happen
graduation.
again.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but so the bigger issue is that there's a minimum number of days from a senior standpoint that they have to achieve no matter what.
Correct.
Correct, right? And
Correct.
I believe it's 178, right? Is that the right number? I believe that's the right number, or no?
Well, there's reimbursement.
We're not taking
Mr. Fitzgerald would know
reimbursement
this.
into consideration. I'm just
Right.
talking about, isn't there a minimum school year that they have to achieve or no?
Yes.
And
Hours.
that's 100, by hours,
Or threshold.
by hours.
Yes.
So if we tentatively set it at Friday, right?
Tentatively set it at Friday, we would be fine in the situation that we are now.
And the worst case scenario, if we have, and they're calling for a crazy winter.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know,
we have had those,
We
but
had some crazy winters, but worst case scenario, there's also, and we've done this in the past as well, where throughout the remaining part of the year, we on some days that we are off, we actually came to school. We canceled
Correct.
days off.
Yeah, we can add snow
And I know,
days.
who's, all the kids in favor of canceling days off, raise your hand. Well, didn't work.
No, I understand everything that we're saying. I just throw that out there as an air of caution, because if we did graduate on Friday and school, for whatever the reason, ended on that Wednesday prior, that would be probably unpopular with some
But here's the
seniors.
thing, Dr. Nugent, if we tentatively set it Friday now, right, and then for some reason come March, and we don't use those snow days, we could change it.
Sure,
Before, because that's why we've always waited
Correct.
in March, because we knew where we pretty much stood at that point. But I think because of a lot of the angst out there when people are seeing Monday and all this, about,
understand, yes.
they're like, oh, I can't believe we're gonna, have to go one day to start a new week and all that, so.
I would agree, and we have done that prior.
Right, so I'm fine with us tentatively setting the schedule, Colleen, and I think Clinton, you brought this up last week, right? That we set it for Friday. Mark, you're okay with it? Everybody's okay with it? We set the schedule for that Friday? And then we could publicize it that it's Friday?
I'm fine with that.
And then come March, if we don't have a crazy winter and we have a day or two, whatever, we could reset it. I think the bigger thing is not going forward. It's,
Yeah, we used to do April, but because of the consideration of travel and such, we did
Right.
push it to March.
yeah, and March has been pretty much
We
fine.
did have a snow day, I think 2 or 3 years ago after that, but we had already set the date, so we were set.
All right, well.
Okay?
Do we need to make a motion on that?
Could we set a firm date, and if we don't use the snow days, extend Memorial Day weekend by 1 or 2 days?
Yeah.
That's
what I'm saying.
Because then you keep the same end dates.
We could set the firm date.
Or worst case, the kids go extra days, they probably wouldn't mind that.
Probably not. So do you want to make a motion for that Friday?
Can we just make sure though, like when it is published, that it still kind of has some description that it could be moved earlier, or it could be like there.
My concern is, what I don't want to have happen is our priority through the winter months is ensuring student safety. And what I don't want to do is make a decision to have kids come to school to preserve a graduation day. So, and Dr. Good and I talked, and wanted to make sure that I articulated that tonight. Having said that, I think Friday night's a good, solid guess based on our trends here.
Right, absolutely. And we, as a board, wholeheartedly agree with that. And we definitely take student safety, and we won't if it's, if it's whatever, we're not, that's not even a consideration. So, but thank you for that point.
Yeah, number one priority. So I'd like to make a motion to move graduation to the Friday, that date is the 12th, June 12th.
Second. Sorry. I have a motion and a second. Any comment? Any public comment, since this wasn't on the agenda? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Great. I like making stuff happen.
Me too.
Let's move right into solicitor's report. We're on a roll now.
No report.
Look at that.
Too much credit earlier. I think.
Yeah, really. All right, great. All right, let's jump through the rest of the agenda. Meeting minutes, A through B. Do I have a motion? Second. Motion second. Any comment? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Personnel, A through F. Second. Motion second. Any comment?
I'd just like to thank Mrs. Lees for providing the information I requested in the memo on Friday.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you for that. We were all able to see that, so that was perfect.
Okay. Any other comment? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Finance, A through G. Second. Motion second. Any comment? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Property, A and B.
Second.
Motion second. Any comment? All in favor, say aye. 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 Programming and curriculum, A. Oh. Huh? Programming and curriculum, A. Motion second. Any comment? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Conferences and workshops, A through C.
So moved.
Motion second, any comment? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Other, A through E.
What,
I'd say separate out E. Yeah, separate all of them, rather.
Okay, so under other business, A.
So moved. Second.
Motion second, any comment? All in favor, say aye. Other business, C, there's no B.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, any comment?
Yeah, one thing we talked about at the Western Center meeting was abstaining, which some districts do. I don't know any of these people, and I don't feel comfortable voting for people. I've done it in the past. I don't feel comfortable voting for people I don't even know. So I don't know if they're good, they're bad. I don't know. I don't really pay attention to who's their competition. So I think it'd be, I'd rather abstain from C, D, and E, and let other districts vote for people that they don't know.
I don't think we could abstain, we could say no, but we can't
Well,
abstain.
according, at the Western Center, we did do it. We abstained, and they said that.
And so did Pottsgrove last year. They abstained.
How could you legally abstain?
I mean, that would be based on PSBA bylaws. I mean, this is not an obligation for you to vote yes, no. If you want to abstain based on lack of information regarding the candidates, I can't see there being any enforcement to that. So if that is the desire of the board, you can abstain from a vote, and it would be up to PSBA to come back with more specifications.
Okay, what we'll do is, I have a motion on the table for C, so we could table that motion and put a motion on the table, abstain from C, D, and E, or we could move forward with.
You could permanently just table the motion.
I can withdraw the motion, too.
Okay.
I can withdraw the motion.
Do I have a motion for C? Do I have a motion for D? Do I have a motion for E? Okay. Any board comment?
Yes, I have two board comments to make. One is I just want to remind everyone about the homecoming trailer, since I am kind of the self-appointed cheerleader on the board. Want to make sure that everybody is going to come to the homecoming event. We will have the trailer, and it'll all be decorated, and you can come and bring your spouses and your candy. All you have to do is get on that trailer, and we go together and we put forth the image, because we are all together and working together. So I'll see everybody at noon on homecoming to get on that trailer. And then the other piece I wanted to bring up, and I may have brought this up before, is that my office each year does a fundraiser with and for Spring Forward with the board. We've done this in the past, as you know. We've supported SNAP in the last couple of years. I haven't heard too much of what's happening with them with splitting the prom, and so my office did have a discussion, and we've decided to go with having the fundraiser and creating a scholarship fund to support a student that would be identified that's going forward for some kind of training, either in real estate or in any home improvement trade, which I think, Mr. Dennert, this is a nice follow-up to. We've constantly had some discussions about how the trades are so important, and we're placing some importance on that. So please hold the date and reserve the date for November 8th. I'll see everybody there for November 8th. Okay, so just keep that in mind. I'll have more information coming. All right, thank you. I think that's it for today.
What was the 12th? October 12th, you said?
I'm not telling you again.
Huh? Oh, homecoming. We should get a trailer. Real quick, two other items. Last week, Mr. Dennert and myself were able to attend an ice cream social along with Mr. Rizzo at Spring City Elementary. They did a ribbon cutting of their new pavilion, and they thanked the board very much for our gift to Spring City and allowing them, providing them that pavilion. And it was all the parents and the kids that were there greatly appreciated, and it looks awesome behind the school, so they want me to pass that on. And I guess it's Dr. Murray, it's a full month now? 2 weeks. Oh. Well, what have you been doing for 2 weeks? I know it's on our tickler list of, we were looking at the dual enrollment associate's degree. So I'd like to, at some point in the near future, get an idea when we could present some preliminary information at a board meeting. I really want to see this move forward, so be exciting to hear what you find.
I can piggyback on that a little bit. I have
You
had.
don't have to.
Well, I'd like to. I've had some conversations with Erin Crew about dual enrollment, and I'll be happy to get that information over to Mr. Rizzo and Dr. Gooden to share that in the board memo for next week, so everybody can take a look at that too. This is a little bit more information. What about these things? This meeting and this meeting, the township and the
Any other board comment? Public to be heard on anything?
The reason I'm here tonight is because...
You need to state your name.
My name is
and your-
Tony Desidue.
And where you live.
All right.
Just the township.
I live on the other end of Lewis Road.
All right.
Okay.
Close enough.
The reason I'm here is for charter schools. In September, I read an article from the Philadelphia Inquirer about charter schools from Allentown. They wanted Allentown to build them a new school. And that kind of grabbed me a little bit, like this is public money. And public money is what I pay for, schools like this. I don't pay them for charter schools, so I was disturbed by it all. So the reason I'm here basically is to find and ask you a few questions, like was any of this cost being paid by the person that owned the charter school? Do they pay any money into this at all? People who own charter schools. That's a question.
Do they pay any money?
Yes.
Do they
The people who own the charter schools, do they put any of their
So
own
through
money?
investment, business investment, and everything else, they pay to get the school open.
And then what?
Then the sending school districts pay
Pay
them
the
a whole
rest
lot
of
of
the
money
bills.
for the kids to go there.
Mr. DeBella, we'll just clarify. First, sir, this is a comment section. This is not a question and answer
That's all right.
section.
No, the reason I'm
and-
here is for that question.
Well, and I think on some level it was clarified, most, if not 95% of charter school funding comes exclusively through taxpayer dollars. We are a pass-through to those dollars that then go to the charter school.
Yes. Next
And
question.
there's very little startup money that is utilized because the process under the charter school law requires any school entity, including Springford, if it were Springford where a charter was going to exist, that we are required under statute to consider any charter application. And then Pennsylvania, the Charter Appeals Board through the state would determine ultimately whether a charter can be placed here or not. But then all of the revenue is almost exclusively through local funding through the schools.
Okay, as a senior, I really don't want to pay that. So I would like to know, do we support the charter school?
No.
No, but unfortunately, what you have to do is you have to contact the state legislators. We as a board have been fighting this I've been on the board for 10 years and I've been fighting charter school funding for 10 years. We put out roughly about $3.5 million a year now of taxpayer money that goes to all the charter schools. So it is a problem. It is one of your questions that you have on here is it a business? It absolutely is a business. There are people that own charter schools and they're making millions and millions of dollars. It's taxpayer money.
Yes.
So yes, but unfortunately, this board, as governing for a school district, has no control over what we can and cannot do with charter schools. It's basically all mandated and dictated by the state.
And-
Even the funds, what we pay per student is all regulated through the state.
And our grievance is always too that the charter schools do not have to meet the academic requirements that public schools do.
Okay. No. Good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments? comments, I said. Do I have a motion to adjourn? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Meeting adjourned.